How do you say thank you? You might say, thank you for this copy of Boston Legal. Here is William Shatner, and also on the back, here is Odo from DS9. Or you might say, thank you for this OED. It is very big. Thank you. I am indebted. I acknowledge this. I am indebted for this R2 unit. And also, or you might do a bow. You might go, thank you for the... Or just do a bow. Before we get into it, of course, there will be a quiz at the end. Not, of course, this is the second time I've ever done it. Some people won it last week and they got some bookmarks. But if you hang around until the end of the video, there will be a quiz question where you might be able to get a bookmark, which I made with my own bare hands. So anyway, you say thank you, I say thank you, we all scream for ice cream. That's how the rhyme goes. The word thank you is sort of everywhere, really. It's one of those phrases which we use to sort of oil the cogs of society so that we don't all want to kill each other all of the time. You might be at an ice cream place and someone gives you an ice cream and you say, thank you very much for this ice cream. Thank you, sir. Or thank you, madam. Or thank you, Ms. Or you might be in the club with your squad and then you are making your way through the crowd and someone gets out of your way and then you say, thank you very much, thank you, and then put your hand on their shoulder and then hopefully they won't punch you. You'd be forgiven for thinking there must be a million billion ways to say thank you, i.e. there must be loads of synonyms for thank you, but actually it turns out there aren't many and I covered most of them at the beginning of the video. Also, unless you're British English, or you speak British English, sorry, unless you are British, then there are probably only a couple of ways to say thank you, i.e. in English. That's what I mean by that. I mean, if you're American English, maybe you say something else. I don't really know. If you're American English or Canadian English or Australian English or South African English or New Zealand English or some other English, is there a way that you say thank you that isn't cheers or isn't thank you? Let me know. I mean, you could say all of those other ones like much obliged, etc. or am indebted, but then you sound like one of those bellends in a cloak in Game of Chairs or whatever it's called. I mean, all the characters in that have got British accents anyway, which some of them live in the same town, but some of them are southern and some of them are northern and some of them are Scottish, but because they sound all mildly British, then they must all have the same accent, right? Anyway, I've got to get to the point. That's what I've been trying to work on recently. I was in a corner shop the other day and the man who served me was of South Asian descent and wasn't born in this country because he still had a very strong accent, and he said tar when he was saying thank you to me for giving him the money for the goods and services of which I was purchasing. And I thought, I wonder if tar is a loan word from, say, Urdu or Hindi or something like that, because British, as I've covered, or English, as I've covered before, is very much an enterprising or promiscuous language. Tar is quite common in the north of England or the northeast of England, and so I looked it up and it found out that actually it's not Urdu or Hindi or anything interesting like that. It's just, well, according to the English dictionary, so tar actually is, according to the English dictionary or the OED, this is the compact version, then it's actually, and also etymology.com, it's a childish form of thank you, which is disappointing. Amusingly though, it is in the English dictionary. Look, you can see, it says tar and then interjection, British, colloquialism, thank you. And then in these hard brackets here is the etymology, childish form. There you go, I've just read a dictionary with you. Maybe I should do a video about that at some point, because dictionaries actually are quite interesting places to spend time. Now, I did come across a alternative theory on the internet. Now, unfortunately, it came from a quite dubious source, but it's an interesting idea anyway, and that's because, well, it says that tar is an abbreviation of tak, which is, I'm probably saying that wrong, which is a Danish word for thank you. The reason why this theory stands up quite well is because, well, the Danes were originally known as the Jutes, who came to England and had quite a good sort of sword-wielding impression on the people who lived on this island at that time, and then later on they came as the Vikings, and they also had quite a sword wielding and axe wielding and hairy they had lots of hair, apparently, according to the pictures. They also had quite a sword-wielding influence. And then later on, also, the Norse came to England, and they also had quite a decent impression on us, especially at 1066 and then onwards, and then what we called the Norman yoke. So to use that as an etymology actually sort of makes a lot of sense. Unfortunately, the source is A, not sourced, so it's just someone's pet theory, it appears. But I mean, it's still quite a good one. And B, it's on Urban Dictionary, which, I mean, if you want to look up the definition for ballsack, then maybe look it up then. So shall we get back to thank you? Thank you is, well, it's quite an old word actually, and it has its roots in Proto-Germanic. So it goes to Norse, and it goes to High and Low German, and it goes to High and Low Dutch, and a few other things as well, or a few other languages as well. All of those words lead to the Middle English thankshan, which looks like this. It's spelt with this, which is a thorn. That's called a thorn, which is a rune, sort of a Germanic rune, and then which means TH, and then an ANCIAN. Yeah. Over the years, the English have English has evolved, as I'm sure you're aware, because we can't all read the Canterbury Tales by Chaucer anymore, because it's written in what appears to be a foreign language, which involves signs like that in it, and also words which don't sound anything like words today. Also, English has, of course, dropped the old Germanic runic alphabet and picked up the Latin alphabet. So today we say thank you, and thankshan. I think that's how you say it. I've done all the pronunciation research I possibly can this time, all right? I might actually be saying it right. Bonus fact this week is that think is related to thank in the same way that song is related to sing. So think, sing, thank, song. Which means that when you're expressing gratitude, you are thanking a think, or is it thinking a thank? It's one of those two. It's interesting though, isn't it? Anyway, this week's quiz, the winner will be the person who puts the answer at the top, the first person to put the answer in the comments on either this Facebook post or this Instagram post or this YouTube post, depending on where you are. And while you're at it, maybe think about, actually I can't bother, give it a subscribe or don't, do whatever you want. So the question is that James Cameron, during his speech for the Oscars once, said that I'm the king of the world, which was a thing that he said once. What was his award for? Answers in the comments. First one wins a bookmark. Good luck and take care of yourselves.